Hey guys, it's your boy Joe back at it again, man. CodingPhase.com. Your boy is backing out and did it again. So your boy Charles is basically sending me this link, and he's telling me, "Hey man, check this out. Check this course out." And it seems like a legit course, but there was something that I was just like listening just to the introduction, and it just didn't make sense to me. And this is why I feel bad for anybody that's out here looking for any type of resources to learn online, because everybody comes in and spews their own personal opinions on things, which is not the reality of life, of what's really going on in the industry. All right, so there's the
Most
thing.
importantly, what is actually relevant at this moment for you to gain valuable skills and earn a high salary? Most courses are either outdated and teaching you less valuable skills like jQuery or PHP, or the course doesn't cover the full spectrum of technologies that you need.
I agree with some of the things he said. People teach, outdated stuff, and that's right, because somebody might create a course in 2014, 2015, until this day, 2017, 2018, still selling the same course, still making money out of that same course. So, poor you come in 2018, you sign up for a course and you're taking a course from 2014 and you don't even know it, because a lot of people don't even put no dates on their courses. But talking to something that he said, it's like, hey, people are teaching jQuery, PHP, things that are outdated and less valuable. And I'm like, I don't understand what it's up with a lot of people who live in certain bubbles. A lot of times people who live, and when I say certain bubbles, live in the major cities, New York, San Francisco. If you live in the major cities, for some reason, people really think like JavaScript is the only thing that's going to be in the future and the only thing that's going to be around. And it's the only thing that you need to learn for web development. And you need to make sure you learn only React. You only need to learn, Node.js, and that's all you need. And in reality, it's like, no, there's like a million jobs out there for junior developers to come in for PHP. There's a million jobs who are out there who are pretty much looking for people who know the basics of JavaScript, because somebody sent me another email too, where it's like, hey Joe, I'm in a JavaScript loop right now. I don't know what to do with myself. I've been trying to learn JavaScript, but I don't even know when is it that I'm ready to start looking for a job, because there's constantly new frameworks and new things to learn and more things to learn when it comes to JavaScript. And it's like, I haven't gone to the interview because I don't know if I'm ready. And it's like, yeah, it's not just you, buddy. Everybody's going through it, right? So especially when you have, developers out here who pretty much just say, hey man, here's Node.js, that's all you need to learn. And one thing that you got to understand, for a lot of developers, it's easier to just teach you JavaScript, because in a course, it's easy. You say, hey, I taught you JavaScript, here's Node.js, here's how you do a couple of things, learn it from here, and I don't have to worry about teaching you another language, I don't have to teach you about another database, everything is the same thing. Here's the mean stack, here's the MERN stack, that's it, all JavaScript. It's easier than coming in and explain to people, hey, this is PHP, this is Python, this is Ruby, this is whatever language, this is Java, this is .NET, you know what I mean? On top of the three main things, which is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It's easier to just say, hey, we just do mean stack, we just do MERN stack. It's so much easier. But one thing that it just bothers me, because it's just like, man, do these people do the research? Like me and this other guy, Andre Niagoy, we could go into a Node.js interview and ace it and go in and get the position. Not every one of you guys is gonna have that luck, right? Because a lot of the companies are looking for people who are more, more experienced, right? If I come in and I say, hey, I've been in the industry for 10 years, I'm going to get the job. If you come in and you say, hey, I learned this online. I got a couple of little projects, and I only been here for, my last job. I was a developer, intern or whatever for 6 months. You're not gonna get the job, right? But in an easier position, like something with PHP or something where they need you to know jQuery to basically maintain legacy code or just easy sliders and little things like that, you are going to get the opportunity to get hired. All right? Like, you have to start somewhere. There's the thing where these guys, they forget. And it bothers me because, I see it all the time. It's like right now I could come in and tell you, hey guys, we're going to prepare ourselves to go work at Google. And we're going to have 300, 400 people next to us, arms in arms, arms to arms together. And we're going to walk to Google and we're going to say, we demand to get a job here. Let's all get a job. We're not all going to get a job at Google. Okay? Like, it's just not going to happen. All right, guys? We're not going to get a job at that big high-tech company. It just doesn't work like that. If you live, let's say an example, for whatever reason, let's say you live in West Virginia, right? You live in West Virginia and you live in a city called Parkersburg. Right? You live in Parkersburg because there's the thing. People forget people live out here. They're not working with Node.js. They're not working with all the latest things out there. Most of the time it's going to be stuff that's already been around for years. PHP, jQuery, Python. If you're doing something, dealing with data, or if you're working with corporate company, is going to be .NET. Like, those are the things that you're going to get. Those are the jobs that's going to be in this area, right? If you don't live here, New York City, where there's an abundance of like jobs of every technology, your safe bet is for you to do the research. You can't listen to people out here and tell you, hey man, this is the best thing. This is the one that you got to learn. This is the only thing that you're going to learn. No, it doesn't work like that. You're supposed to have knowledge of a little bit of everything. Now, to tell somebody that, hey man, jQuery, PHP, what else that people like to say is outdated, .NET, what else? We gotta make a list of like every hipster guy out there that loves to just put down this technologies. We need to make a list, right? And be like, hey guys, don't use this because Node.js is out, right? And you look around in your area and you're like, there's no Node.js jobs out here. And the jobs that are here, they're looking for somebody for 5 to 7 years experience. So what happens to me, the self-taught developer in my house? And this is the thing that bothers me. Because it's like a lot of these guys, they don't put themselves in other people's shoes. They don't put themselves in other people's shoes. They don't understand that if you live in, let's say, Youngstown, Ohio, it's not the same thing as living in Cleveland, Ohio. So when you do general things, like even, what was this kid's name? Even you was telling me here on YouTube, the creator of You, he's like, hey man, there's 4 companies here in Seattle. There's 4 companies here in Seattle that are actually using Vue.js. So when you say there's no jobs for Vue.js, you're lying. And I'm like, you're hating. He's like, you're hating. Hate is not going to get you anywhere. No, it's not hate. I'm being honest. I'm here to be honest with people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to tell people, hey man, on the trending blogs and, sitepoint.com and reddit.com, Vue.js is the hottest things. But you come down here, You come to Vegas, you come to Utah, you go to Arizona, you go to Albuquerque, you go to Amarillo, you go to OKC, you go to Kansas City, you go to freaking Iowa, you go to Chicago. Nobody's using Vue.js. There's no jobs for it. Nobody's using that at all. You get what I'm saying? So for me to come in and be like, hey guys, you know, Angular, you know, React, that's so old school, man. They're super outdated. They're super outdated. The new thing is Vue.js. The new thing is Node.js only. Everything in the world gets done with Node.js, guys. This is the only thing that you gotta learn in the world. This is so stupid. It's not even funny, man. People live in bubbles, man. Because people act like they've never been outside of the city. People act like people who are learning online is the same level as them. Like when they go to a job interview and be like, hey man, I've been doing this for 7 years, 10 years. I want to, work as a Node.js developer. You have 5 to 10 years as a JavaScript developer. Yeah, they're going to give it to you. Of course. You know JavaScript already, like the back of your hand. But Johnny from Bowling Green, Kentucky, who's teaching himself online, is not going to show up to a place and be like, hey guys, hire me. I learned Node.js 3 months ago and in my house on Udemy. And it's like, hey, can I get a job? It doesn't work like that, right? Now, if he comes in to a job for PHP, JavaScript, something basic, when you're learning these courses online, even to this day, my biggest selling course, it's not React. It's not none of the major courses that you would think. It's not Laravel. Laravel is my best course, literally. And less than 7% of the people have gotten to taking it, right? Because the rest of everybody else, like about 80% of the people, are learn HTML and CSS, right? And the next course is future-proof JavaScript, which is the basics of JavaScript. So that means everybody that's looking for courses are like super beginners, guys. Like, so when you see these courses that just tell you, hey man, this is the only thing that you're gonna need, it's like Node.js this, Node.js that, and everything before it is outdated, and you don't need it. You don't need to learn this because this is not where the future is going. I've been hearing this for like 7 years. Same thing that this kid came in, left a comment. Do you think Ruby will continue to grow in 2018? I think Node is coming for that spot. Guys, I've been hearing this for like 7-8 years. For like 7 years. Since 2011. Around there. Since 2011, I've been hearing people say, Node.js is around the corner. For 7 damn years. You get what I'm saying? And I bring this up again a million times. When Twitter left Ruby on Rails, when it actually let's roll back a little bit. When Twitter was actually the best and the worst thing that happened to Ruby on Rails. Because this is how the community is so fickle. People are so fickle when it comes to this thing. When Twitter came in and was created with Ruby on Rails exploded. Everybody said, oh my God, they created this in a week and look how successful it is. Because Ruby on Rails, production-wise, you can't compete. There's no other framework or language out there that can compete with Ruby or Ruby on Rails, period. So when it came out, everybody was like, oh, all the freaking startups, everybody started using Ruby on Rails. All right. Then from there, Ruby on Rails basically slowed down because Twitter said, hey, we're going to switch from Ruby on Rails to Scala. All right. And when they did that, automatically, they just pretty much stabbed them in the neck and said, here, we're going to stab you in the neck. Because people are so, even the smartest developers are so dumb at the same time. Some people think when you're creating applications out here, you gotta plan out for when you get to a Twitter level, when you get to a Facebook level, when you get to a Snapchat, Instagram level, right? Everybody thinks that you got to plan for that moment. And what they don't understand is that that's only 1% of the companies that make it to that level, right? So if you're out here creating websites or e-commerce or a website that where it's like a service, anything you could think of, Ruby on Rails is perfect for it, right? But online, people will be like, Ruby on Rails is dying. Mind you, there's so many freaking jobs for Ruby on Rails that can't get filled because there's just not that many people out there that know Ruby on Rails like that. So what happens when you know the language and you're good? What happens? You get paid the most. Ruby on Rails developers get paid the most out of everybody. Maybe not Golang, but out of all the other developers, and I'm talking about web. That's my specialty. Don't come here and tell me, some Python developers, they make this, and that. Guys, we're not talking about big data. We're not talking about software engineering. We're not talking about creating applications. I'm talking about my fucking specialty. Web development. If somebody can talk about web development, it's me. I know exactly the ins and out of web development, right? I started from the bottom. I was just like you guys years ago, searching until I realized that not everything that's on the internet is beneficial for me, right? Some things hurt me. Some things drove me to try to learn technologies that I didn't need, things that there was no jobs in, things that, it was somebody's favorite new language or somebody's favorite new framework, and I will go in and try to learn it and wasted time without creating anything for my portfolio or creating projects that were something that I could show for or something that I could make money off. Because if we're here, it's for a reason. To be here on the internet in front of a computer listening to me and you're doing this for the love, this is stupid. You will have to be stupid to just say, hey, I'm just doing it for the love. I'm not looking for no benefits at the end. I'm not trying to get no money out the end. It's like I'm spending 12 hours a day learning to code and I'm just learning. I'm not building anything, but I'm just learning. You get what I'm saying? If you thinking like that, that's stupid. Right? Now, people like this, I don't know the guy who was his name, Andre Nagoya or something. I think they hurt people more than they help them. Because when you try to come in and you say, hey man, don't learn the things, that are the basics of web development, but yet you want to become a web developer. That's like telling somebody, hey man, don't learn how the ABCs, but here's how to write a sentence, right? This is how to write an essay, but don't learn your ABCs. Wait, what? Does it make sense? I hope you guys understand me. Don't learn your ABCs, but learn how to write an essay. This is how you write an essay. You don't even know the ABCs, but you're writing an essay. You get what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I just be like, man, I don't understand it. I just don't understand it. Like, you can't downplay the things that now, as a senior developer, you say, oh, this is easy. This is easy. This things, nobody needs to learn this. This is old school. This is outdated. Mind you, there's so many jobs for people out there. Now you're just blocking off the people who are there to learn from you from learning something just because you don't want to teach that. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's certain things that I don't like and I still teach it. I still tell people to go learn it. I'm not the biggest Angular fan, but I could tell you right now, compared to everything else out there besides React, I've never seen so many jobs like you have for Angular 1 and even Angular 2 now. There's jobs like literally you come outside, you trip over them when it comes to Angular and React. Now, if you're one of the people that are like me, who like to go for the top and is like, hey man, if I'm gonna learn this stuff, if you are a developer, right? Not even a developer, you are a person who is switching careers and you're in a position where you say, hey man, I can't really go into a career if my first job is less than 60, let's say $70,000. Well, the perfect place for you will be Ruby on Rails. Because if you're fucking good, if you know your freaking language and you know the framework, you're looking at 85 starting. You get what I'm saying? To put all your baskets in just JavaScript and Node.js and just say, hey man, I'm just going to forget about everything else that's out there. You're hurting yourself. You got to look at your area. You got to do the research, find out what's in your area, and realize that just what you see on the internet is not really what's happening in your world, right? You might see somebody talk, Node.js is the future. Node.js is the best thing in the world. Guys, if you live in freaking, you live in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Node.js is not the world. Node.js is not the world. Let's look it up. This is just a random thing. I'm doing it just randomly because, you know, sometimes we talk about things that in technologies that are very popular in major cities, New York, San Francisco. That's it. But let's look into this. Let's say Node, and let's look in, what was it? Did I say, was it Tulsa? Yeah, Tulsa. 7 jobs. And this is not even as Node developers. This is senior front-end developers, which means they're just asking for people who know NPM. A lot of times there's people add Node to jobs. You know, like a recruiter might put in the keyword Node, but they don't need you to become a Node developer. What they need you to know is at least NPM, so you could download the freaking libraries and you could use Webpack and the whole shebang, right? But start looking into this thing, man. Look in your areas. Now, let's see what they got. PHP, more jobs than freaking junior web developer, OKC, like in Tulsa. Like, this is what you guys are, junior developers. Like, this is where you're going to find jobs. This is where you're gonna get your start in your in the damn industry. You know, jumping into, you know, Node.js and say, hey man, Node.js is the answer to everything. It's just not, guys. I'm telling you right now, it's just not the answer. For people that say, hey man, you know JavaScript, you're ready to go. No, you're not ready to go. Because JavaScript is not the same thing as Node.js. It's the same language, but you got to know more stuff. And then you got to compare yourself to somebody who might know 5 to 10 years more than you, who's going for the same position. And you're like, hey man, can I get that job? They're going to look at you like you're crazy. Like, yes, there's a lot of people that get opportunities in major cities. But I want to know who out here, out of all of you guys, lives on the major cities, the major tech hubs. New York, San Francisco, let's say LA, Austin, let's say Colorado. If you live in those cities, leave a comment and say, I'm in those main cities. Or just put, I'm not in those main cities. I'm probably going to put in a poll. All right, I'm gonna put a survey online on YouTube, and I'm gonna release it later on, the results of it. And I just wanted to say this out here, man, and I keep repeating myself. You have to be careful what people put out there on the internet, because I could come in and tell you, hey man, you know, the hottest thing right now here in New York is actually Golang. But now you come in and you're like, hey man, I'm just gonna learn Golang. And then the next thing you know is like, you live in Tulsa and there's no jobs for Golang. How convenient. You just spent so much time learning something, creating projects, creating portfolios, creating things. And it's like, they don't use that. All right. Or smaller business are not using that, which, if you look it up, smaller businesses are the ones that are hiring junior developers. It's not the main companies. It's not this big companies, Google and Facebook, none of these big companies are hiring junior developers. The ones that get hired, that junior developers, are like guys creating robots in MIT. There's a huge difference between, hey guys, I'm a junior developer here, learning from Udemy, learning from CodingPhase.com, and hey guys, I'm building robots at MIT. I've never had a job, but I'm building robots at MIT. Can I get a job? Who do you think is gonna get that job? We could think about that. Now, if you go to a smaller business, those are the people that are going to give you a chance to start working. Once you build yourself up, then you have those opportunities. Then you start going to those, major companies. Even the smartest people here on YouTube, the smartest guys, the guys that you respect, right? A lot of them, they can't even go to a major company and try to get an interview. They won't even pass the phone interview. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's just the reality of things. So when you come in here and you listen to everything that's on the internet, it tells you, hey man, all of this other stuff that's out there, man, it's old school. Those are old school things. Those are the old school things. There's no jobs for that. That's not the future. What is the future? I've been hearing this for 7 years. Node.js is the future. And for some reason, there's more jobs for PHP. But I'm supposed to tell people, don't go and learn PHP because Node.js is the future. People sound so stupid, so ignorant. Like, what's the future? The XYZ framework, the Teletubby framework, the Harry Potter language, what is it? Quantum computing, computers. Quantum computers that's the future. Go ahead and prepare yourself for that. For a 10, 20 years thing. Stay out here starving while you're still learning that. You're planning out for the future. While you could literally have a job right now, be working, and then learn all those other things that is coming up. Just prepare yourself. That's what I did. I learned all the basics. I learned all the things that would get me that job and would get me working like this. Those are the things that I did. Now, I learn any technology I want. I come in and learn whatever the hell I want. I can learn Golang. I can learn Node.js. I can learn Ruby on Rails. I can learn Python. I can learn .NET. I can learn C#. I can learn whatever the hell I want. But you know why? I always had a job while I was learning. There's no point of you learning something if you won't be able to get that job. Learn something that you're going to get the job, and then prepare yourself as you keep on building your skills. Once you know web development, you know everything else. It's just about learning syntax and learning different ways and different paradigms that people do things. But just, I don't know. Watching that video just kind of triggered me. And I was like, man, this is so dumb. Like, you could literally tell, like, this person is in a bubble. Like, when you tell somebody automatically, don't learn jQuery, which can make your life super easier as a JavaScript developer. Don't learn PHP, which literally has the most jobs than any other programming language out there in the web, and you trying to teach web development. You're like, what are you doing? You're hurting people. You get what I'm saying? So, I don't know. Just do your own research, man. Find your own area and see what they hiring for, man. This idea of like, I know everything, it doesn't work like that. Because we don't know everything. We need to put ourselves in other people's shoes. Not all of these people live in New York and San Francisco. Same thing that I told even you, bro. I'm not hating on you. It's like, Vue is the baby of React and Angular, and then from there, that's it. But doesn't mean that companies are going to drop everything that they're doing, that they're using Angular and React, and they're gonna say, hey guys, we're dropping everything. We're gonna jump on Vue.js, something that some guy is building on his basement. It doesn't make sense. All right, so do your research, kids. I'm out of here. Bow.